girl Natural Nini. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a story time on my first semester of college. So my first semester of college is actually over with. It ended on November 16th and it really only lasted for 3 months. So my first semester of college is over, and now that it's over, I'm about to be giving you guys the 411, the rundown. I'm gonna be spilling the tea, be spilling the beans. I'm about to be telling you guys everything that went down in my first semester of college. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started with this video. So I'm going to be telling you guys about August 1st. And like I said in my intro, the first semester of college only lasted for 3 months. So it really wasn't that much that happened in August. But move-in day was, my move-in day was August 10th because I think we had a choice to choose like which day we wanted to move in. So I decided to move in on August 10th, which was a Tuesday, literally 6 days before my first semester of college started. So move-in day was very hectic, but it was very, very interesting and I had fun moving in. And it was interesting, you know, I didn't have a problem moving in. I was happy and everything. So after move in, I pretty much stayed at home, I think until that Sunday, which was August 15th. I had to go back to the dorm because obviously I started classes that Monday. So went back to the dorm on that Sunday, didn't have any problems there. And then the first day of school, or the first day of college, was Monday, August 16th. And I will pop up a picture of the outfit, or just me, my first day of college. So the first day of college was Monday, August 16th. And I was actually really excited about my first day of college. And obviously I did not think it was gonna be like my previous first days, like of high school and middle school. I knew it was going to be totally different, and not different on how it went down. So I was given a schedule. I don't remember if it was my new student orientation. I think it was move-in day actually when I got my class schedule. And on the first day of class, of course, you know, I was following the schedule and I went to the right building. But come to find out, when I went to that building, that's where my English class was. And come to find out, the class wasn't even in that building. That was supposed to be like, I don't know if it was supposed to be like the English department, but my first class of my first day of college was supposed to be in that building. So when I went to that building, it was like people standing, you know, in like front of the building when you walked in. And the lady up there said that all of the classes in this building are for high school students only. And of course, that had me really confused because it's a college campus. It's supposed to be college classes in this building. Why are high school students here? So it had me very, very confused. So obviously my class was not in that building. So I kind of wandered around campus. I think I even emailed my professor. And then I ended up going into like the student center, and I joined in on Teams. And I wanted to come in person because I was on campus. So mind you, I actually got up at 6 a.m. on the dot to get to my class on time because the class started at 8. So I got up 2 hours early to be ready. I left the dorm at like 7:30, and I didn't even find the classroom until like, I think maybe 8:16, 8:20. So I was late. But with it being the first day, we didn't have like any assignments or anything. It was pretty much just like an introduction day, like introducing ourselves. So I really didn't miss that much, but I wanted to be at the right place at the right time, on time. But that did not happen on the first day. So that was my first class. And then my second class, I think was actually a math transitional class. Now I did get transferred or moved out of that class, but it's a good thing that I did, because it was like a baby kind of math class. Like they were doing simple math, like 100 plus 25, and you had to do like long addition trying to figure that out. So I'm glad I got out of that class. But my third class for the first day of school was freshman seminar. I found that class pretty okay, so I really didn't have any problems with that class. And then pretty much for the rest of the day, I think I just stayed in my dorm room, and then for dinner I just went to dinner with a friend. So that was my whole first day of college. Now the second day of college, it was pretty okay. It wasn't as hectic as the first. So I think the first class I had was like a computer class, and I found that class pretty okay. Nothing bad or anything went down in that class. And then the second class was that baby transitional math class, but I got out of there. And then I think my third class for the second day was Intro to African American History. Honestly, there wasn't anything wrong with the classes themselves, like on the second day. They just lasted too long. Like most of the classes were like an hour and 20 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes long. So they were really, really long. But there really wasn't anything like wrong with the classes. They were just too long. So the second day of college went better than the first day. Now, I actually could not find some of my classes though. I guess going back to the first day, I couldn't find that class. But the other classes that I found on the second day was pretty good. Now, by the third day, which was Wednesday, August 18th, I had a meltdown. And I actually did a video, I think on a story time of my first week of college. But I actually had a meltdown by the third day. Like, I couldn't find my classes. The teachers weren't in the correct rooms. First off, the teachers weren't even on campus. So when I actually went to the right classroom, there wasn't anybody but students in there. And so this was all new to me. I'd never experienced anything like it. So I was able to find my first class okay on the third day. But then for my freshman seminar class, we did not meet in the same place. We did not meet in the same room. So we had to meet somewhere else. But what I just told you guys, the teacher or the professor wasn't even in the room. So I was like, okay, what in the world are we supposed to do? And that class actually lasts for 50 minutes. So eventually somebody came in, but they didn't have a clue on what was going on either. And so they dismissed the class pretty early. I think they dismissed it at like 11:35 or 11:40. So once they dismissed the class, I just went right back to my dorm room because I was like, you know what? I'm fed up. I'm not used to this. I really don't want to see anybody right now. So I just went back to my room and I cried. I cried for about a good 20 minutes. And honestly, I love to eat. And when I came back to my room, I didn't eat anything. Like, I threw all my bags on the floor. I laid on the bed with my phone and I just cried. And then after I got done with my meltdown, like about 20-30 minutes later, I called my mom and told her everything. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to come home. I want to drop out. I do not want to be here anymore because I wasn't used to anything like that. But we got all of that straightened out. And by the fourth and fifth day, I was fine. We had everything straightened out. And with it being the first week of college and with me living local, I ended up going home the first weekend after college, which was really good for me because that week was really long and I was just ready to come home. So after the whole first week of college, the rest of August pretty much went really well. I did have a few other times when I cried because I'm not even gonna lie, I was actually homesick. Like, I was really homesick. Like, I missed home. I wasn't around anybody that I knew, and the only way I could contact, my family was through the phone. So I was ready to go home. I did not want to be there anymore. And pretty much for the rest of August, I kind of cried, but I sucked up my tears and I just kept moving along. So that was pretty much everything for the month of August. So moving on to September, you guys. September honestly was not that bad. Now, I did have a few days when I did cry, only because I was homesick. But with me living local in Memphis, I could pretty much go home whenever I wanted to. Like, as long as my mom was able to pick me up, I could pretty much go home whenever I wanted to. So September honestly wasn't that bad. I did get moved out of that baby transitional math class that I was telling you guys about. So my classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays were actually easier, only because I had like that one extra class and I didn't have to have, that transitional math class every single day. I only had a math class twice a week, which was every Tuesday and Thursday. So September was also the month when I started my first college job. Now, I knew about the job in August. I was supposed to be starting in the middle of September, but they had me started on September 1st. So going down this little road right here, so September 1st was actually on a Wednesday, and I was leaving my freshman seminar class, going to get my lunch, then coming back to my dorm, eating my lunch, relaxing, like sleeping, watching TV, not really even thinking about doing schoolwork. And next thing you know, I get to my dorm room, I get settled, I'm getting ready to eat my lunch. Then all of a sudden my phone is blowing up. Like, people were texting me, trying to message me, people were calling me. Like, the COVID coordinator, which was the job I had. So the job I actually had was a COVID-19 screener. Pretty much, I was sitting at like the entrance of certain buildings. Now, obviously, it was not only me on the job, it was a whole lot of other people, but certain people had a certain date and time and building that they had to be in. So, like I said, I was trying to eat my lunch, and then my phone was blowing up, and the COVID-19 coordinator was calling me, telling me, hey, you have to come work in this building right now. And I was like, okay. The only reason why I went was because it was like my first, I really won't say like my first day on the job, but it kind of was, because I wasn't supposed to start on September 1st, but I started anyway because they called me and I ended up going to that building. So it was technically my first day on the job. And I didn't even get to enjoy my lunch. Like, I think I might have had like lasagna or meatloaf, and I wasn't even able to enjoy it because I had to go work. So I actually had to work from 12 to 5, which was a long time to me. Even though it doesn't seem like a long time, it was a long time. So I pretty much just sat up in the building. 12 to 5 is like what, 5 hours, I think. And I had to sit up in the building. Pretty much I just had to like check people's temperatures, make sure that their temperature wasn't over, because if it was, then they had to go see the school nurse and all of that. So I had to check their temperature, if they need hand sanitizer or a mask. And they had to have like a certain color-coded band showing that they actually got screened that day. So honestly, the job was easy and I actually got paid really well, but it was so discombobulated. Like, there were some days where people thought I was supposed to work, but I wasn't supposed to work. Then they were giving me like these long hours I didn't even ask for. And there were even a few times when I didn't even show up. Like, for example, when I had to stay on the weekend and I was supposed to be working on a Saturday from 11 to 2. I don't know if it was raining or if the gates to the campus was closed. I think it was both. I don't really remember. I think it was both. But I ended up not going to work that day because the gates were locked. Obviously, if the gate is locked, I can't get on campus. And secondly, it was raining really, really hard. So I was struggling in the rain and I didn't even end up working that day. And I think it was like sometime in September or October. I don't really remember. But it was crazy. It was really, really crazy. Now, I did get paid good though. I did get paid good. But the job itself was like really discombobulated. So that was pretty much everything with like the month of September, because in September my classes were going well. Now, there were a few times in September when I did cry because I missed home, and I actually did go home for Labor Day weekend, and then I came back, and I think I had to stay for like 2 more weekends, and then I went home, I think either the second or last weekend in September. So September honestly was not all that bad. I even made a few friends as well. And I will say, towards like the end of September, I was actually getting more comfortable. I was getting used to like the routine that was going on, like my daily schedule. I was getting used to it, so I wasn't crying as much, but there were some days I was crying. So that was pretty much it for September. So moving on to October. October was actually a really good month because I wasn't crying, I wasn't having any meltdowns, and I was really used to like the routine. So October pretty much was a good month. Now, October, honestly, personally, I think October is very, very boring. But honestly, everything was going good for me in October. Now, I did tell you guys, I think in several videos that I talked about college, the food was amazing. Like the college food at sometimes was amazing. But they did serve us some leftover food. They did serve us some expired juices at one point, and I wasn't going for it. So I felt like that the only reason why I felt like I was coming home more in October was because I was missing like those good home cooked meals, because at the college they were pretty much serving us leftover food or food that I really didn't too much care for. And my mama wasn't going for that, okay? She was not going for her child having leftover expired food. So I did come home a lot more in October than I did in September, because the food there was good, but it also wasn't good at the same time. But pretty much for October, I think everything was going well. I did end up making a few more friends in October, and I don't think I cried at all in October either. I think I already said that, but I got used to the routine, you know, what I was doing every single day. So I really didn't have like a lot of meltdowns, and I was going home a lot as well. I actually think I was at home for a whole entire week in October. So October was really, really good. My classes were going well. You know, I was getting good grades. Everything was pretty much going well in October. Even the job itself was going well in October. So October overall was a good month. So moving on to the last and final month, which is November. November honestly was smooth sailing for me because I've already dealt with like everything that happened in August, September, and October. And November was like the best month ever. Like, it was move out, which means I was going to be coming home and staying home. It's the month with my second favorite holiday, which is Thanksgiving. And honestly, I wasn't even on campus that much in November. Like, I spent the first 2 weeks of November at home, and pretty much the last week of college, which was November 15th through the 19th. It was pretty much smooth sailing because I just had to like study for exams and get like last minute work done. So I really didn't have any problems with like, you know, being homesick or anything, because I was going to be coming home in a few days. So November was smooth sailing. All I had to do was like study for exams and do like last minute work. And I was honestly so excited to come home that I actually started my move out really early. Like, I started packing stuff in October. Like, I was packing stuff every single week. Like, every weekend that I went home, I was bringing something home with me just because I didn't want to be struggling on move out day. So November was smooth sailing because honestly, I didn't have a lot of stuff to do, and I was pretty much at home for the most of November. So November honestly was the easiest month of college. So guys, there were a few things I forgot to mention. So the first thing I forgot to mention was the boring weekends. So the weekends when I did have to stay on campus, they were boring. Like, literally nothing for me to do other than like wash my clothes, watch TV, pretty much lay around in my room, go get food, come back, go get food for dinner, and come back. There was literally nothing to do on the weekends. So I did feel like I was going home more than I actually was staying on campus. But I'm actually glad that I did stay on campus for my first semester of college. And the only reason why I did that was because I was a freshman. Well, I'm still a freshman though. But I only decided to stay on campus my first semester because I was a freshman and I wanted to get like the real college experience as a freshman. So that was really my only reason for staying on campus for the first semester. But now that I've experienced a whole lot of things from August 16th to November 16th, I experienced a lot of stuff. And I actually can say, honestly, with great excitement, that I'm glad that I'm not staying on campus next semester for the spring of 2022. Only because, one, it actually costs too much. 2, I literally live like 40 minutes away from the college. And 3, I honestly missed home. So I'm actually glad I'm not staying on campus next semester. And I think it's because of COVID as well, because COVID is getting worse. Like, it's a whole new variant of COVID, and we're not trying to get COVID, okay? I actually got my 3rd booster shot on Friday, and I'm covered. I mean, I first got vaccinated in March. This is November. 8 months of COVID, nothing. Like, I did not get COVID, and I'm not trying to get COVID. So I think that's another one of my main reasons for not staying on campus next semester. Only because a lot of kids there actually have not been following the rules. Like, it's a lot of kids and grown-ups as well who don't wear their mask and they don't follow protocol, and I'm not trying to get COVID. Like, we are not trying to get COVID. So those were honestly the only things that I forgot to mention. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share my channel. And help me reach my goal of 1,450 subscribers. I will see you guys in Vlogmas. Bye.